What's going on, guys? This is Chimpact bringing you guys another Wi-Fi battle. Now this battle is actually a rematch that I had against Callum, and he has the same exact team while I switched up my team a little bit because, as you can see, I don't have a Mega Pinsir anymore. I'm actually using Mega Lucario. I don't think Mega Lucario has much time left, and just decided to show him some love because, like I said, he doesn't have much time left. So I decided to lead out with Infernape. I said I would be using Infernape, but this is unfortunately not my shiny Infernape, and it doesn't have U-turn as well. So there goes the main reason why I wanted to use Choice Band and Infernape. So I'm gonna switch out into Tyranitar. I wouldn't have gone for U-turn anyway because of the priority Brave Bird, but it really sucks that I can't use U-turn for the entirety of this battle. So he's going to go for the substitute, which I definitely found interesting. I have a Tyranitar. There's no reason for you to go for substitute, but he's just going to switch out as I do go for the crunch because just in case he wants to go out into his extra drill, I want to just be able to break the balloon that he may possibly have. So I go for the crunch on the Venusaur, and it's going to be a 2-way KO after the sand, and luckily for me I do get the defense drop. But I'm going to show this man a little mercy and go out into my Mandibuzz just in case he does have sleep powder as well, because obviously I don't want my Tyranitar going to sleep because I need that to trap Latias, and it's one of my best answers to Talonflame. Even though I really don't need it awake to handle Talonflame, I still would like it to be awake. But he actually goes for the synthesis right there. I guess bluffing the sleep powder. I think I know his moveset, but he might have changed it since our last battle. So now he's going to go out into Rotom. I'm going to double switch out into my Lucario, actually expecting him to go for the Sludge Bomb on my Mandibuzz, but that was actually a really poor play on my part because I switched in Mandibuzz immediately, which kind of portrays that I may have the Brave Bird. So it makes sense that he would go out to Rotom right there, so I maybe should have went for the knockoff right there, but that's hindsight for you. So I'm just going to go for the close combat because I figured that if he's not defensive, I'll be able to knock it out. And Rotom Wash is like really annoying to my team because I do have a Landorus, and I'm not going to be able to knock it out in one hit unless this thing is weakened, and I don't want to have to rely on Stone Edge if it's at around 50% or something like that. So I am pretty much just going to use my Lucario as a sacrifice to take out his Rotom because Rotom is pretty annoying to my team. And down goes his Rotom, but my Lucario is burned, which is pretty much the biggest threat on my team, but it's whatever because I did knock out the Rotom, and Rotom is just an annoyance to my team, and I wanted to get rid of that immediately. So he goes out to Latias, and I went for the close combat right here, expecting a switch out to his X-Drill because I do have a Tyranitar, and I figured that he would want to double switch out into X-Drill to take advantage of me switching out into Tyranitar. But he actually makes a really bold move and goes for the Side Shock instead. Gets a crit, doesn't matter at all because I was at -2 defense. So now I am going to go out into my Tyranitar and just go for the Pursuit. It doesn't really matter what he wants to go for right here. He can just like reflect type. I don't really care. That Latias is going to be able to go down to my Tyranitar, so that's really good for me because now my Infernape is able to spam the Fire Punch. That is pretty much its only attacking move. I have Fire Punch and Mach Punch, and 2 irrelevant other attacks. So now I'm going to switch out into Mandibuzz, expecting him to go for the Giga Drain, but he goes for Sludge Bomb, definitely making a lot of bold plays in this game because if he went for Giga Drain, he would have been at around full. But the Giga Drain would have definitely helped him out in the fact that he wouldn't have gotten 2-hit KO'd by my Tyranitar, while Sludge Bomb is not even close to being able to 2-hit KO my Tyranitar, while Giga Drain is actually super effective. So I guess he's just out here making some plays, so I'm just going to go for the Whirlwind to really not have to deal with the Venusaur anymore because I really can't do much to it other than knockoff, but I can obviously knock out a Venusaur after it's already Mega Evolved. But I Whirlwind him out into the Greninja, and Greninja is obviously not a good matchup for Mandibuzz, especially if it's not at full, so I'm going to switch out and I'm going to go out into Azumarill, which I believe is kind of a bad play on my part, because he's obviously going to go for the Ice Beam, and it's going to do like negligible damage. As you can see right here, it's going to do around 25% to my Azumarill, but it may be able to put it into range to where a random grass type attack from his Greninja will be able to knock out my Azumarill. So that was kind of a bad play on my part. I probably should have just sacked Mandibuzz right there to ensure that I have a free switch into my Azumarill. So he's going to go for another Ice Beam. I guess he was predicting my switch back out into Mandibuzz to stall out some Life Orb and Sand damage from his Greninja. But I'm just going to go for the Facade. The reason why I have Facade actually on this Azumarill is so that I can ensure that even if I get burned, Facade is going to do a reasonable amount of damage to whatever status is me. And Azumarill does get toxic occasionally, so it helps with that as well to ensure that I do some more damage than Aqua Jet to whatever. So I'd knock out the Greninja with a Facade and Aqua Jet. And also, if you guys didn't know, in 6th gen, if you're burned and you use Facade, then the burn attack drop does not take into account the damage. So it works like 5th gen Guts users being burned. So now he's going to go back out into Venusaur. I'm pretty much just going to sacrifice Mandibuzz right here because it really can't do much to the rest of his team. He has a Talonflame, Excadrill, and a Venusaur. So Mandibuzz obviously only has a good matchup or a decent matchup against Venusaur, but it's obviously going to go down because I'm already poisoned and I really don't have much to do against the Venusaur. So I'm just going to go for the Roost right here because I thought that he would actually go for the Synthesis, and I wanted a little bit more recovery and I wanted to stall out some Synthesis PP to ensure that he wouldn't have a lot going into the later stages of the battle. But it's actually just going to continuously go for the Sludge Bomb. I guess he really wants to save the Synthesis power points for later. So that's pretty good for me. I really don't care because I really just want my Mandibuzz to die as soon as possible while he isn't at full. So he's actually just going to go for repeated Sludge Bombs and be able to knock out my Mandibuzz, which is great because now I get a free switch in to my Infernape. Now I could switch out into my Landorus right here, but I'm pretty sure that he does have a Balloon Excadrill, and Earthquake will definitely not be able to knock him out, and he might get a little bit more recovery. And I definitely need to save Landorus for his Excadrill as well. So Fire Punch, Choice Band, and Fire Punch. This is a Blaze, not even an Iron Fist Infernape, so I have Fire Punch on Blazed Infernape just so that I don't take recoil. Alright. So I'm definitely going to switch out my Infernape. I could easily just sacrifice it to this Talonflame, but I'm not going to let my favorite Pokemon just die. Just die to a bird. So I'm just going to go out into Tyranitar as he goes for another substitute right here. Fire Punch would probably be able to break the substitute from the Talonflame, but it wouldn't be able to do much back since Brave Bird is going to be able to knock me out the very next turn. So he's actually going to go for the Flare Blitz on my Tyranitar, just hoping to get the burn. As I do just decide to go for the Crunch. I can't really go for Rock Slide because I don't want to miss. And he unfortunately does get the burn right there. I actually thought that he went for the Will-O-Wisp, but it makes a lot more sense to me now, the fact that he got the Flare Blitz burn, because on turn 2 or 3, he obviously would have went for the Will-O-Wisp when he was substituted up to ensure that Tyranitar isn't really as strong. But a burned Tyranitar will still be able to beat his Talonflame one-on-one, especially since I'm at such a high amount of HP and he's already at 50% from the 2 substitutes that he's already used. So at this point, I'm just going to go for the Stealth Rock to force his Excadrill to be able to, or to force his Excadrill to spin them away. So he either has to spin them away and waste a turn, or he just lets his Talonflame not be a factor for the rest of the game. And at this stage of the game, I really just have the game won with Azumarill, because Azumarill can be able to knock out his Excadrill and Talonflame, and they really can't do much. I mean, Talonflame might be able to knock me out with a Brave Bird since my Azumarill is at 50%, but I still have the Landorus as well. So he's just going to go for the Earthquake, and I'm just going to go for the U-turn to break his balloon. I can't really go for Earthquake, obviously, since he still has that balloon up. And I'm going to U-turn out into my Azumarill because I'm definitely going to expect him to not actually go for an Earthquake, especially since I already got the attack drop. And he's actually just going to go for the Rock Slide, and that is going to do negligible damage because I did get the Intimidate off, and Azumarill is pretty bulky. And at this point, I'm just going to go for the Aqua Jet to knock out his Grand Mole, and all he has left is the Talonflame. But he actually lives that, so I'm definitely thinking that this is a bulky Excadrill. And the Earthquake is not going to be able to knock it out. So right here I have a plan. My plan is to actually let my Azumarill die to this Earthquake right here, because I don't really care about Azumarill. It's not one of my favorite Pokemon. While Infernape, I definitely need to show my Infernape some love, so I'm just going to go for the Mach Punch, the only other attacking move that I have on this Infernape. And I went for Mach Punch just in case I didn't outspeed for whatever reason. Maybe it wasn't EV Train either. And Talonflame is just going to die in fear because I have Infernape out. So that's going to be a good game. Hope you guys enjoyed this battle. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.